This brand convinced millions of Americans to stop wiping their butts with toilet paper. With 3 million cult-like customers, a $40 million empire built on openly talking about poop, and one of the most recognizable D2C brands of the last decade, they are called TUSHY, and while everyone's focused on their viral ads, their irreverent brand voice, and how a toilet paper shortage accidentally made them famous, nobody's talking about the email strategy quietly running underneath it all. So in today's video, I'm breaking down every single email TUSHY sent, their campaign strategy, their email design templates, the psychology behind why their emails work, and the exact playbook you can steal for your own brand. So by the end of this video, you'll walk away with a repeatable email framework you can plug into your store and turn one-time buyers into loyal repeat customers. And if you want the full document breakdown, it's completely free. So grab it from the link in the description below. Otherwise, let's get right into it. So getting right into the email marketing breakdown, we have 3 different sections here. Number 1 is an email compilation. It features all the emails that they've sent in 2025. Also, the email design breakdown, breaking down the top 5 main sections that they use throughout their emails. And also the email marketing campaign strategy, breaking down their emails section by section so we can understand their overall sending strategy and their cadence with how they do promotions, when do they send out educational content, and when are they talking about their products. So first, we're getting into the email compilation. Over the course of 2025, they've sent out a total of 185 campaigns, roughly 3 to 4 campaigns per week, and they have a very even funnel mix between top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom funnel emails. We'll get into more of what those are in a second. So some key observations as we go through some of these campaigns. Number 1, TUSHY sends a high volume, 185 emails across 52 weeks, averaging 3 to 4 per week, with daily sends during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and the holiday season, all while maintaining its cheeky and witty brand voice. So it's not like they're just sending out some of these campaigns haphazardly. They're hilarious, especially the educational based ones. Here's an image of a person with their head, cropped out and replaced by a peach to resemble a butt, and the headline says "Butts are serious stuff," right? Very funny, like super witty. Like this gets your attention because it's like, what are we looking at here? A year of blissful release. This is just a 2024 rear in review, which is amazing. Really good wordplay. There's this man sitting on the toilet, and they have plenty of different other campaign ideas like this. Here's some graphics around a piece of poo. Here's a graphic around some pieces of poo, and it gets into types of pieces of poo that you might come out of your body. Also, Father's Day, we love a badass dad, man sitting on a toilet with a toddler on his shoulders. There's also one where it's showcasing a man taking a poo, and there's like a rainbow behind him. There's like a castle right here, like a tower, and there's a bidet, like one of the bidets sticking out. There's one where it's like a treasure chest with their bidet sticking out. They've all these. Another one where this lady is sitting on a toilet looking up at a 1700s painting, and tagline says "back that butt up to the 1700s." So witty, so funny, and they actually get your attention very, very well. They know how to do that, and yes, they maintain their brand voice. They send out a lot of campaigns, and they're very consistent with it. Next, TUSHY doesn't rely on one discount structure. They rotated through percent off discounts, flat dollar amount discounts, novelty date pricing, so $69 on 6/9 day, gift with purchase thresholds, BOGO gifting mechanics, so buy one, gift one 20% off, and loyalty point multipliers. So they're constantly reiterating and trying out new different offers to see what people are going to resonate most with. And especially because they are a bidet brand, you're most likely just going to buy one. They really have to rely on and try to push for that repeat purchase value. So how are we going to get people to do that? Here's a flash sale just for you, up to 30% off, or actually up to 50% off everything your bathroom needs. They also do mechanics such as like earn 2x points when you join the Spray Society. They have up to 40% off all bidets. They use, let's see here, Memorial Day sale up to 30% off. You can see that these discounts are tapering off from like 50 to 30 or 40 to 30. Then we have takes 2 to 6/9. So buy a 2-pack where each bidet is $69. So you're buying, effectively buying 2 and you're forced to buy 2. Another one, Independence Day, up to 30% off. They're using tons of these different offers here where they're just trying to get people to adopt and use and try out one of these products. Same thing here, save $50 on the Cloud Plus with the Father's Day sale. They're just trying to get people to adopt the products as much as possible, and especially used towards gifting. If you look at their BFCM offer, it's up to 40% off, but they really heavily focus on gifting. Here's these products wrapped around in a bow, and here's these products wrapped around in a red bow. If you look at the holiday sale or what they promoted during the holidays, they're talking about gifting, right? Like you're talking about, gifting goals and sharing a bidet with someone else, right? So they're really focused on that, and they're really focused on just trying different offers there. Number 3, they have great email strategy balance. So while many D2C brands normally just push discounts and drive subscribers to a sale, they maintain a good balance between top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel campaigns. By sending high engagement educational content, they can keep open rates strong during non-promotional stretches and protect inbox placement during peak Black Friday, Cyber Monday sales, all without burning out the list. So as you can see here, they have maintain a really good pace and mix between top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom of funnel campaigns. If we even look at here, I can see bottom of funnel is in orange, top of funnel is in blue, and middle funnel is in purple. So here they have a sale to start off with the new year. Then they have top of funnel content. Then they're talking more around the bidets, around the products. Top of funnel content, talking about the bidets. Bottom funnel content here, middle funnel content where they're teasing a new product launch. And you can see that it's super consistent through all these campaigns. Middle funnel, top of funnel, bottom funnel, top of funnel, middle funnel, bottom funnel. They're all just like, they maintain a really good solid pace and maintain a good solid strategy when they are promoting discounts and when they're promoting the products. They're just incredibly good at maintaining a good solid balance between all three. And that's kind of like what you want within your email program. You want to be able to talk to prospects, people who have not bought from you yet, talk to them about buying a bidet, or give them more information around whatever, just so that you stay top of mind while you're also pushing the actual products and you're pushing the discounts and promotions. So yeah, it's incredible strategy. They're doing an amazing job there. We're going to get into more of what that strategy looks like later on in the video. Number 4, they follow a good holiday promotional strategy. So every major holiday follows a well-detailed multi-email sequence. So normally it's a lot of top of funnel, middle of funnel warm-up. They could be talking about gifting. They could be just talking more education around the products. And then they get into a sale launch email, and then they're pushing people towards urgency with reminders saying, hey, it's the last chance. Say, this is ending today, or this is ending soon. So holidays like Valentine's Day, Memorial Day, Father's Day, be it Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, they all follow the structure and they all maintain a really good strategy there. Number 5, they were really aggressive during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So they sent out 3 emails per day on the 28th and 29th of November, 6 emails in 48 hours. They're also just hammering down emails all throughout that weekend and into Cyber Monday, and even just leading up to it. This is not uncommon. This was a super similar trend in 2025, where most brands had to make Black Friday, Cyber Monday like a make it or break it season to drive meaningful revenue for the year, because there's so much complications with tariffs and all these other things that are happening that they really had to make Black Friday, Cyber Monday really worth it for them. And yeah, with a really good push, like TUSHY was in the same situation. They had to make the most out of it. So, but it looks like they were really aggressive with it, and it's just not too uncommon there. Number 6 is consistent product launches. So TUSHY released 7 products in 2025: the Aura, Cloud Plus, the Wave, TUSHY Candle, Ottoman Brush Nickel, TUSHY Travel Colorways, and then the Hindsight app, each having 1 to 3 email launch sequence, so a teaser, announcement, and then a benefit/education follow-up. This is another similar trend that we're seeing across D2C brands, just promoting and releasing a lot more products. This is going to help drive more repeat purchase value or repeat purchase rates, increase customer lifetime value, and it's just going to help brands become more profitable in the long run, especially as your CAC is diminishing away. So this is a strategy that we recommend a lot of brands use, and it looks like TUSHY is already ahead of the pack with releasing 7 products throughout the year. And then number 7 is brand voice. It's their most competitive moat. They are very funny. They're talking about poop. They're trying to launch these bidets, and so the best way to talk about something that seems uncomfortable to some people is to make jokes about it, right? And be lead with humor, lead with jokes, lead with puns, because that's if you can kind of disengage that and make people put their guard down, they'll be more inclined to listen to you. And so their humor forward tone is consistent across all 185 emails, whether they're promotional or educational or seasonal. Competitors can't replicate 10 years of toilet humor brand equity. And this voice is also great for retention. Subscribers are staying on the list because the content is entertaining. And that's a really good lesson that I think a lot of brands should take in. Okay, now that we've covered key observations, we're going to get into what they're doing well. So number one is volume consistency without dropping quality. We already mentioned this. They're sending out a ton of campaigns, but the tone never sounds tired or templated. The humor stays fresh. They're still pretty funny. They're still pretty witty, and they still maintain a good brand voice. 2, relatability with multiple demographics. So one thing I've noticed is that they are amazing at being relatable and speaking to a specific audience based on the email. So one email, they're talking specifically to a parent about their kids. Next, they're talking to a college student about their poops and life on campus. And as you can see here, obviously here is one where it's more around Mother's Day and talking about that, which is everyone's a child to their mom, and also life back on campus, back to ramen, all-nighters, and weird poop. Yeah, so here's a design of some lunchroom, like a lunchroom tray with some food on it, and then what should you get as a college student going back to school, right? So freshman 101, you should get the ottoman, you should get the toilet spray, and then also get the Tushy Classic. So I think it's really genius, and they also really specifically are targeting and talking to that audience, which is really nice to see. Next is BFCM warm-up. So 2 weeks leading up to BFCM and Black Friday, Cyber Monday, they sent out emails filled with social proof, gift guides, product education, and this prepped customers to have an idea of what they wanted once they launched the sale. So as you can see here, buy a bidet, gift a second bidet, 20% off. Like these are all middle funnel and bottom funnel content where they are talking and pushing for content, and just they're pushing and educating people so that by the time Black Friday, Cyber Monday rolls around, like their sale launches, people are grabbing the stuff and they're going to the site and they're buying. So not a lot of top of funnel content here other than this one thing here, but this is still kind of middle funnel. They're still just talking about the products and just pushing people to the site, so that hopefully by the time just driving engagement, and then they can retarget them for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Next is that they use seasonal hooks to their fullest. So when Halloween came around during October, Tushy sent out 3 Halloween-related campaigns leading up to the 31st. So at first there was like a joke, there was a bundle, and then they offered education. So rather than just sending out a simple campaign on the day of, they led up to it with a bundle and offer, and they stood out to the inbox because they were talking about these events days before any other brand does, right? So if we go over to October, you can see that they're talking about Halloween on October 6th. Here's some bats. It's always spooky season if you wipe, reverse the curse of wiping, etc. Then they have this bottom of funnel offer. So, double toilet trouble, a 2 bidet Halloween bundle, where they're just promoting the fact that you could buy a 2-pack for Halloween. And then on the day of, they actually have a really fun top of funnel campaign around Halloween. They also have one right a few days beforehand, right? They're here's a gravestone and the moon and some bats and some fog. So really on brand, and they know how to make the most out of their seasons. And lastly is unpredictable content. So when you open one of their emails, you have no idea where you're going to open and what you're going to get. And this content strategy, their content strategy is so bizarre and clever that it just instantly gets your attention, and it makes you interested to see what you're going to open up to next, right? And we've seen this throughout the emails. If you get access to this document, you're going to see this throughout a lot of the campaigns, especially the top of funnel ones. They're very well made, they're very well produced, and they're just funny, they're witty, and have a lot of character to them. Key takeaways for any brand. Number 1, Tushy is running one of the most content sophisticated email programs in D2C. They have a clear, even funnel mix between top of funnel, middle funnel, and bottom of funnel. All of their 185 emails are engaging, witty, and filled with cheeky humor. You can tell that they invest heavily into this channel, not only for revenue, but for brand building. Number 2 is promotional strategy. So at the beginning of the year, you saw that they started off with like 50% off, then they tapered off to 40 and then 30. But now later on into the year, you can see that they're offering a lot more of a variety of offers. Here, buy this 2-pack, buy one, get one, 20% off, trying to just drive as much adoption into their products and into all the other collections that they have that aren't the bidets, right? Into the candles, into the ottoman, which is just like the seat, the toilet seat, and all these other different offers and products that they are releasing. So I think it's really smart for them, and they're doing an amazing job at that. And then lastly, again, and number 3, I would 100% recommend looking at their brand voice, especially around the funny emails. It's really hard to be funny and witty across something that you just read and look at. So I highly recommend learning their structural patterns when it comes to their subject line formulas, their pun frameworks that they use across all 185 emails, because they're geniuses at it. They're really funny, they're really witty, they have tons of character, and if you want to use them for your brand, I would highly recommend it. So that is a whole compilation of their 2025 email marketing strategy and all the emails that they sent out. Now we're going to get into the email design breakdown. So after going through all of their 2025 email campaigns, I've broken down the top 5 main sections that they use across their emails that you're going to see repeated across nearly every single campaign. And this modular approach is what allows them to send 2 to 3, 3 to 4, 4 to 5 campaigns per week without constantly having to reinvent the wheel. So number 1, we have the hero section. Number 2, we have the product spotlight section. Number 3, we have product education. Number 4, we have memes. And number 5, we have testimonials. So starting off with the hero section, this is the first thing subscribers see when they open the email. Tushy uses this primary real estate to hook people immediately. This is essentially your above the fold section. What do people see right when they open up the email on their computer or their phone? And as you can see here, they follow a very simple layout. They send out, for the most part, they send out 2 different campaigns. One is just a simple newsletter where they're pushing people to a blog, or they're providing a little bit more education around the products, or they're pushing them to another asset like a content video on YouTube or some sort, right? So they're doing that where they're just pushing people to a blog here. But also they have the regular campaign cadences here. And as you can see, they all follow a very similar structure. They have the logo up here. They have a headline up here. Then they have 2 to 3 lines of body copy. And then they have the CTA above the main hero image. That's essentially it. For the most part, it's really just this format. They don't change around with changing the alignment even. They don't move this alignment to the left or to the right. They don't move this content down here and then the image is up here. They have a very structured, simple structured pattern that they follow throughout all these campaigns. Sometimes they change it up. Sometimes they move the CTA button below the hero image. Sometimes they, sometimes they do it that way and they change up the sequence. But for the most part, they are all very consistent. You already know what you're going to see. Yeah, so the template stays consistent, but what changes is the creative, right? One hero is a person's body outlined in a robe with a peach on the head. Another is a dad on the toilet with his son on his shoulders for Father's Day. And that's the whole game for them. It's not trying to play around and split test the different sections and how we can just change around the way the copy looks, but it's the content itself. It's how can we make this content and very fun and engaging and get our point across with just the copy and the images, right? Structure stays simple, but the creative is weird, funny, and completely on brand. They're not trying to out-design anyone. They're trying to out-entertain them with really good creative. And you can obviously see that within their emails. Number 2 is the product spotlight section. This is where they're showcasing what they're actually selling. This is mainly going to be they're showcasing the product with a CTA button below it. So here we have some, a product feed showcase. You see this in every other email. They are showcasing some of the bathroom accessories and essentials like the candles and sprays. They're showcasing some of the bidets here. They're showcasing even the products with the features. So here's the Cloud versus the Cloud Plus. What's the difference? What are you getting? What makes them different? Then you have this. Sometimes they personalize it for a customer avatar. So here they're personalizing it for a student. Freshman 101, you need this. You get the Ottoman. For stealth super pooping, get the toilet spray, etc. But for the most part, they're all pretty consistent. A lot of them are either featuring just one simple product or a collection, or they are featuring a side-by-side comparison between one type of bidet versus the other, right? Because there's so many, they have a variety of options. And so people, especially if it's their first time buying one, they might get confused on what they're buying. And so they try to make it simple for them to figure that out. They also showcase some bundles here. Here's the candle trio versus like the morning zest bundle that they showcase. They also sometimes break down their products by levels. So instead of like just doing a product comparison between just a standard product comparison, they break it down by saying like, hey, how comfy do you want your bum to be? And level 1 is just, shop the spa. This is, if you want that, then this will be good for you. They also do provide step-by-step instructions on how this whole process works, especially because Americans, bidets aren't popular here in America. And so they're just showcasing like, hey, how does this whole thing work? Especially if you've never bought one before. Then they also do us versus them breakdown. So what is the difference between us versus your next best option? And obviously everyone uses toilet paper, but yes, everyone uses toilet paper. So why should I buy a bidet? And what's the difference there? They also do product comparisons between their own individual products. So again, I mentioned this before. Here's the Tushy Classic. Here's the Wave. What's the difference between these two? Next, we have their product education section. So this is where they build a case for why their products matter and why they take a smarter approach than most brands. So sometimes it's not just product education. Sometimes it's just education sections in general. For the most part, I just kind of combine these two because they don't really, a lot of these blend together really well. So number 1, they have a blog video highlight. This is mainly in their newsletters. This is just them, showcasing a lifestyle image, some body copy here, and then pushing them to a video. They do us versus other solutions, but just a little bit more detailed with like the overall content. They get more, they provide more information here, and there's no like CTA button. So they still do this without having to promote exactly their own bidets. They're just promoting bidets in general. They also provide founder quotes. This is from the Father's Day campaign. So you can see like, here's a quotation from the founder and CEO of the company. They provide education charts. This is around stool and the different types of stool that you might see when you go to the bathroom. So they provide a lot of education around there. They also provide a lot of value propositions, primarily around the specific products. So here they're promoting like value propositions. These are just like features of a specific product, and then they're showcasing the image of that product or of that feature on the right-hand side. And then they also do it based on holiday. So here they said, why bidets win Valentine's Day, clean parts inspire peak romance, mystery maintained, and a gift with infinite refills. So that's why you should gift it for your partner. So even further on, more value proposition bullets. They even offer who's it for breakdowns. So, if you want this kind of feeling, you should get this candle. If you want to feel like you just splurge on a farmer's market bouquet vibe, get this one, that sort of stuff. More value props. This is just more education. More value props around the Travel 2.0. And then also they offer Q&A breakdowns. Next are memes. So this is one of Tushy's most underrated design moves, and it's completely on brand. So they take whatever is trending and then on the internet, and they put their own spin on it around bidets and bathroom humor. And so, you're scrolling through one of their newsletter emails, and suddenly you see something that looks exactly like the meme you saw on Instagram this morning, except it's about being on the toilet. It stops you, makes you laugh, and it makes Tushy feel like a brand that's plugged into the culture, which is exactly what they're looking for. So they don't have too many memes that I could find here, but within 2025, some of these are actually pretty funny, I'll be honest. So so you have bidet on low pressure versus high pressure, which is hilarious. Alexa, play Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. Bidet users on Earth Day. Yes, I'm having so much fun here. I have to leave early because I have to go poop. All this sort of stuff. Like they are pretty funny. They have a good sense of humor to them. So I'd highly recommend looking at these and see how you can incorporate for your own brand. I really recommend memes because they really bring people's guard down. Again, they're funny. They look on brand and they look like you're plugged into the culture. And so they can be really, really funny and bring people's guards down and get their attention. They're just incredible for just like building a brand around like being like having some humor, having some fun, right? And again, they could get people's attention, and then that's where you could plug your products. So I highly recommend them. I don't think brands use them enough, but they're a really good strategy to include. Lastly is testimonial section. So TUSHY doesn't use testimonials that often, although they probably should. But when they do show up, they're really well executed. So they use pretty standard formats. It's really just between general reviews for the company or for the products, or they can get really product specific around maybe it's the ottoman or one of the bidets. So they're showcasing the product image, they're showcasing the actual testimonial, the name, and then the CTA button to the product. And that's how generally they are. There's not much of variation between the different sections. And one thing I realized when looking at this is that the challenge TUSHY faces here is that's really unique to their category is that UGC content isn't really an option here. Nobody really wants to see someone else's bathroom, right? Most of the time they're kind of disgusting unless they're really well kept. And for the most part, like you really want to see someone else's bathroom. It's kind of like weird. So they're working with a tighter format than most brands because other brands, if you're a bedding brand, you could showcase the bed or like lifestyle images of, someone's, if someone takes a photo and sends that off as a review, that makes sense because they want to showcase the bedding on their bed or in their bedroom. But you can't really do this for like a bathroom because it sounds weird, right? It's like, oh, this is where I do my privacy. And so that might be a little bit more sacred for people to not only send photos, but also for TUSHY to showcase that. So I thought that was a really unique insight there. So now that we've covered their email design breakdown, we broke down all 5 sections that they really go over and they use within their emails. Now let's go over their email campaign strategy. So generally, any brand's email marketing strategy can be broken up into 3 main sections. Number 1 is top of funnel content. This is going to be educational and brand building content. This is where you're teaching subscribers something useful without pushing for a sale. The main goal is to build trust and show that you're expert in the space. So you're sharing helpful tips, breaking down the science, busting myths, or you're sharing brand news. So this is going to include how-to guides, myth-busting content, ingredient or science breakdowns, seasonal tips and advice, PR announcements, partnerships reveals, or even like recipe emails. So these emails just keep your brand top of mind for your customers and makes them want to keep opening your emails. The goal here is just to build trust and educate so that when they're ready to buy, they'll come to you. And so going into here, they offer a ton of different education around the toilet, around your body and how you go through poop. They also have a regular newsletter that they send out once or twice every month. And then they also have plenty of content around Father's Day. And then also they do a lot of stuff around education and just like seasonal content. So that's the top of funnel content. Now that we get into middle funnel content, so this is more product focused education and social proof. So this is connecting your products to subscribers' goals. You're showing them how your products can solve their problems, when they should use them, and why they work. So you're really just moving people from saying like, hey, I like this brand to, hey, I should try this product out. So general types that you'll see often in the wild are product benefit breakdowns, usage guides, testimonials and reviews, comparison emails, bundle and stack guides, and you're just getting people to think about specific products. So here what you'll normally see is that they're doing a ton of different product spotlight emails. So here they're comparing their bidets between the Cloud and the Cloud Plus. They're talking about the ottoman, they're talking about Mother's Day and then gifting something for Mother's Day. So bidets or bestsellers or sends. So they do a ton of this stuff and it's all really on brand and it's really fun because they're just trying to get people's attention. So now that we covered middle funnel, let's get into bottom of funnel. Bottom of funnel is just sales, promotions, and direct conversions. You're really just pushing people to purchase and just to drive sales. These are going to be product launches, deadlines, special offers, sales announcements, VIP access, low stock alerts, free gift offers, etc. So as you can see here, you can look at what TUSHY is offering in terms of their offers and promotions. So you could get up to $35 back on your bidet purchase, get up to 50% off, buy one, get another one 20% off, etc. So you can see all these different bottom funnel campaigns. One thing you'll also notice too is that not a lot of them are very clear about the offer. Some of them are, right? Like get up to 40% off. But even for like some of these, this is like an Independence Day and it's not Independence Day themed, right? There's no, like for Memorial Day, they did these stars and they used like the US flag. Here, they didn't really do that, especially around like 4th of July, you would expect them to. And so, yeah, there's some ways where they're like, I think they missed the mark on some of these bottom of funnel campaigns because they're trying to be on brand. But at the same time, it's good to lean into a a holiday or a sale or promotion, and or even just saying like, hey, Independence Day sale, and just being clear with that messaging. So I think that's like a really interesting take. It's not something I see a lot of brands doing. A lot of times they're just like clear, hey, Independence Day sale, and then they just push the sale. And that's what that's what we recommend at our agency too. So interesting take. It's not something we would normally do, but it is definitely on brand for them. And I'm sure they're happy with the results either way. So that is Tushy's email marketing strategy. Now, if you want the full document breakdown, it's completely free. Just click the link in the description below and get access to this document. And if you're an e-commerce brand that's doing $1 million per year, and you want us to audit your email strategy and show you exactly where you're leaving money on the table, click the first link in the description to book a free audit with my team. We'll analyze your flows, your campaigns, your audience segmentation strategy, and we'll show you how you can turn your email list into a revenue machine, just like Tushy.